Hi guys, it's Troy here, streaming to you live from Hogwarts Library. Obviously I'm just using a green screen, but today's topic, this is the ISO Survival Guide Part 1. And in Part 1 we're going to cover 7 tips to help you successfully work from home. I've just written these up on a whiteboard, so I'm going to go through them one by one, and hopefully these 7 tips will help you work a bit more successfully from home and find a better balance between obviously between work and home without leaving the house. So to give you a bit of perspective, I've been working from home for the last 8 years, so this is absolutely no change for me at all. Sometimes I don't leave the house other than to pick my daughter up from daycare for days and days at a time. And I found a few really successful strategies, and I thought sharing them with you might help. So my very first tip, and one that I stand by even now that I don't have clients coming to me at the studio, is that I always have a morning routine. So even when I don't have really early clients, I still get up at 5 o'clock every morning. I have a shower just like I always do. I get dressed and I make a coffee. It's the first thing I do every day, no matter what. And having a morning routine like that just switches you into work mode. So if you think of all of these things as just mental adjustments, getting you ready to shift from your home life into work life, all these little steps and routines just help you switch from one to the next. The second best thing you can do, especially when you're working from home, is to have a dedicated workspace. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean having a dedicated office or a dedicated desk where you work from every day, because not everyone has the space or the furniture and things to do that. What it means though is that if you're setting up at the kitchen table, that once again you have a routine to set up that dedicated workspace. So you put your laptop out, you might get out your notepad and pen and lay down your phone next to it all, and have all your things ready so that when you sit down, it's just one more preparatory step to switch you psychologically or mentally into work mode again. The third most important thing you can do is to chunk your day into blocks of focused time. So it's really easy to do that at work because you often have meetings or a schedule to go by. When you're at home, it's a little bit more difficult because you can find yourself sneaking away to the kitchen for snacks, or you may have kids interrupting you. A really good way to break your day down into really good productive blocks is to put aside 30 to 45 minute blocks of time where you let everyone know that you're not to be interrupted and that you're going to work on a project or do specific work for that period of time. And then what that allows you to do, rolling into number 4, is to schedule your breaks. So personally, I've found that 45-minute blocks of time is about the longest I can focus for before my mind starts to wander. So when I've got a project due or something that I'm working on with a really specific timeline, I work for 45 minutes, and then for 15 minutes I might get up, make a coffee, use one of those breaks to have morning tea or lunch or something like that, or even just get away from the desk for a little bit, stand up before I come back and get into the next block of time. So chunking your day and then scheduling your breaks are really important, just to make sure that also not only that you get your work done, that you're productive, but also just so that you know during that day kind of that you have once again a routine or a pattern to follow. Just makes it easier to switch from work mode back into home mode when the end of your day is done. Which brings me to tip number 5. And all of these things are transitions. So what you're doing is you're figuring out a way to transition psychologically from home and relaxation mode and transition into work mode. And then at the end of the day, transitioning back to home mode again, all obviously without leaving the building. So you've got your dedicated workspace, and if in the morning setting up for work means putting out your laptop and laying out your notepad and pen or your iPad or whatever it is that you work with for work, the reverse of that also holds true, that when you're switching back into home mode, you then need to pack up your laptop and put it away. Or if it's a dedicated space, like I have an office, I generally don't go into my office when I'm not working. So I actually physically leave that room and then I switch into home mode when I'm in a different place in the house. So if you don't have a dedicated space, it's having a routine and putting away your office. Or if it is a dedicated actual physical space, it means only going to that workspace when you have work to do. Number 6, and I think this one's really important, is to make time for yourself. So we're all, everyone at the moment who has work is generally quite busy with work. We're dealing with this situation literally a day at a time, and it's ever evolving. It's really important that if you have 8 hours of meetings booked in a day, that somewhere in there you make some time for yourself. Now, it doesn't need to be a very long period of time. All it really means is that you'll just check in and make sure that you're okay, and you can do that to yourself, by yourself. So it might mean you might have a routine of making a cup of tea, and while you're waiting for the jug to boil, you can take a few deep breaths. You can just kind of scan your body and see how you're feeling at that time, whether you're feeling stressed or anxious. It doesn't mean you have to fix the problem, but if you're aware that you're having a really stressful day and you acknowledge it, sometimes that's enough just for you to switch from it physically affecting you to you just accepting that that's okay for now. So making time for yourself, for a few deep breaths, for a cup of tea, to go for a walk, to stretch your legs, just to move, is really important. And tip number 7, and along with making time for yourself, I think this is probably the most important one of all, is knowing that, this too shall pass. That at some time, I don't know why I said pass, I know we would say pass, because, weird. It's really easy when you're not used to this particular situation working from home. The days can feel really long, and when the days feel long, the week feels like it's forever. And this is only the first week of our ISO, as we're calling it in Aussie land. And there's every chance that this is going to go on for another 4, 5, maybe 6 or even 7 weeks. It could be an 8 to 12 week thing. We don't know. But what we do know is that at some point this will come to an end. It's not forever. The more we can isolate ourselves now and keep ourselves away from other people and eradicate, I think is the term they're using. If we manage to eradicate this virus and then not let people in who have it, then this will all come to an end a lot quicker. So we need to hold strong. We need to self-isolate properly and minimize contact with other people, only leave the house for essential services, and just really remember that this will come to an end. The days seem really long. I totally get that. When you're not used to being by yourself and spending a lot of time alone, it can feel like the days drag on forever and ever. So just know that this will come to pass. If you do have any questions about any of the 7 things that I've spoken about, please leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer anything. Like I said, I've been doing this for a really long time. This is actually no change for me at all. This isolation thing suits me to a T. So ask me any questions you've got, and we'll talk soon. Bye.